Well, I mean, my congressional district goes all the way to the west coast of Florida. So I'd say it's, I want to see what actually transpired, and hopefully we can get down there in a couple of days, and hopefully the damage won't be too bad. But that's going to take the brunt of the storm. Byron Donald's district is actually going to take the brunt of the storm, and the storm will lose some strength as it goes through the center of the state, but it's going to dump a heck of a lot of rain in the center of the state. Here in Miami-Dade County, been kind of lucky. We've had gusty winds, but actually probably less rain than we thought we were going to get. It's a hit or miss thing with these outer bands, whether you're in it or you're not. And, it looked like spaghetti coming through. And so we've been pretty lucky here. Some areas have gotten some good rain. Some areas have gotten pretty dry. So, but again, it's the west part of the state, the southwest part of the state that's going to get hit the hardest.
Okay, yeah, we just heard from our own John Huddy, who's right down there in your area. Congresswoman, I know he mentioned, it's going to hit land, and that land will be the district that you represent.
Yeah, this is a crazy situation where oftentimes we see storms hit certain parts of the state and no other areas are affected. This is one of those rare storms where even though Southwest Florida is getting a direct hit, the way that the storm is curving up the center spine of the state and heading out northeast side, those outer bands, and of course the eye of the storm is going to pass right over my neck of the woods, which is, the Gainesville, Jacksonville suburbs area. And what is really troubling for that particular area as those outer bands are coming around is we are already saturated as a state. We've had 48 inches of rain already this year. All of our retention ponds and, drainage ditches, they're all full. So there's nowhere for this water to go. So not only are we anticipating a minimum of a 5-foot surge up along the riverbanks into areas which are already evacuated, but we are seeing 24 inches of rain in a 24-hour period. That flooding is going to be the real danger here. The winds, they're absolutely a threat, but it is that flooding that is going to be the biggest threat to many parts of the state, including Orlando. So with everything that's been pre-positioned, we now just have to hunker down, batten down the hatches, and wait for this storm to pass, because the real work begins the minute that this storm passes. That's when the flooding is going to get very, very dangerous for us.
Congressman Gimenez, as you mentioned, being in Miami-Dade County, you were actually the mayor for 9 years there. Experts are estimating multi-billion dollars worth of damage from the storm. From your experience at this stage, what is your advice for people who are in the path of the storm?
Well, if you're you should have evacuated if you're in a floodplain, and the storm surge is actually the one that kills the most people. I would expect there to be extensive damage from this hurricane, not only from the storm surge. There's already seen images of cars being underwater, homes are going to be underwater, but also these, the 155-mile-an-hour winds is nothing to sneeze at. Look, we had Hurricane Andrew here, which probably was a seminal event here in Miami-Dade County and changed everything. The destruction that you see from 155-mile-an-hour winds is incredible, and it gets really. This looks like, if you're in the eye wall, it's going to be really devastating. And so what I tell people is get prepared, and then once you're there and you've made your decision, you got to hunker down and ride it out. But help is on the way. The governor has done a great job in pre-positioning assets all over the state. And so as soon as the weather clears, the first thing that'll happen is you'll get public works crews to go out and clear the road, so we can clear the road, so we can get emergency personnel back in, get power, electrical workers back in to get power up as soon as possible. We need to get our grocery stores up and running as soon as possible, our gasoline stations up and running as soon as possible, so that people can become somewhat self-sufficient. We tell people all the time, you need about 3 days of food, water, etc., medicines to be self-sufficient, because you can expect it to take up to 3 days for help to come. But like I said, the governor's done a heck of a job here in the state of Florida.
Yes. Hey, Congressman, I do want to get your take on something, because at a moment when everyone, yourself, the mayors, the governor, and even the administration is focused on trying to deal with this, as you put this statewide thing, you've got folks in the media trying to use it as an issue. I want to play you something for Don Lemon's interaction with NOAA's acting director on CNN last night.
Can you tell us what this is and what effect climate change has on this phenomenon? Well, we can come back and talk about climate change at a later time. I want to focus on the here and now. I don't think you can link climate change to any one event. Okay. On the whole, on the cumulative, climate change may be making storms worse, but to link it to any one event, I would caution against that.
Okay. Well, listen, I grew up there, and these storms are intensifying. Something is causing them to intensify.
So, Congresswoman, just real quick, it seems like the left always looks for an opportunity like this to get their agenda through. The NOAA director very clearly stating no connection.
You know, and that's just another example. Add that to the long list that we have of the left putting politics over people. We're staring down the barrel of virtually a Cat 5 storm. And we have 1 million people without power. Millions of people have evacuated their homes. We're talking about serious loss of life and property potentially. So again, to start the climate change debate now, that's just ridiculous. And when I tell you that this is another example of them putting politics above people, Sean, you and I could go through an encyclopedia of examples. Right now, and I was at NOAA headquarters this morning, and what I saw was a group of people coordinating with the federal level, at the state level, and the local level, trying to put into place the best data set possible to predict the path of the storm, what the effects were going to be, where it was going to be felt, how to make these adjustments in these calls. And that's what we need to be focused on, is getting people the information so that they can make the best decisions, not playing politics and making political statements. Absolutely ridiculous.
Totally agree. I want to thank you both for being with us. I hope all of your constituents and the people of Florida stay safe, and we'll check back in with you soon.